Welcome back to the tomb of illumination, where we talk about the physics of our flat earth. We're just going to run over a few aspects here, what the ancients knew and how it all began, a hyperboloid centre of the toroidal field, understanding how that may have come about. First of all, look at this image here. What does it look like? Ask an Australian and they'll tell you it looks like Uluru or Ayers Rock. Funny thing, it had great significance to the Aborigines, didn't it? The natives. It all goes back to creation. Gee, how did they know the earth looked like that? That's the flat earth model. A slice through the middle of the flat earth model. It's toroidal field. It's the toroidal field, the ether, whatever you want to call it, the flat plane at the bottom. Obviously that's Earth, the plane of inertia, fixed and stationary. This all represents the atmosphere, which is only way down here, but the magnetic field, the flux of the Earth. The torus, and in the centre there is the S-curve vortex of creation. So this is only the top half of creation where we dwell. Okay, Uluru, Aborigines. Uluru, look, they called it Uluru, means Earth Mother. Funny that. Big red rock. Here's another view of the big toroidal field. We have the outer southern hemisphere. It's a lot bigger because it all expands outward. We have the tropical gap in the centre here, the blue. Right in here we have the northern hemisphere, and above it is this toroidal field. It comes out to Cancer. Then you have this gap. You've got Capricorn out here. Okay, so there's the ecliptic planes in here above the Earth, above the Arctic, and it flexes up and down over the air due to this vortex, the vortex motion. Can't call it a pump, we call it vortex motion. So the ecliptic plane flexes like this, gets drawn up, just like a heartbeat, contracts, expands, only does it over 1 year, which moves the ecliptic plane up and down and back up again. And out of the vortex comes the Milky Way, out to the tropical gap. That's where we see the sun. I don't want to get people too confused, but I've been sometimes saying that the sun comes out this way, but and this absorbing energy from the tropical gap as it moves around, because it turns, this Milky Way turns around the whole tropical region over 24 hours. That's a day cycle. And there's the sun. And where the sun is, the magnetic field is attracted to that electrical system, which changes the magnetic field. We'll get into that in a minute. Changing magnetic field on both sides. And so the moving electrical causes the changing magnetic field. The changing magnetic field causes the sun to move, the electrical current to move around here. That's just an image. And what I just described is what we understand the physical realm. But it goes much deeper than that. The energy that's getting fed into there gets fed into the plasma. So then you've got to consider the tokamak reactor, confining the plasma in the tight magnetic field. So we've got a tight magnetic field, right? It's locked in the centre here of the ring magnet. It's the only way you can contain plasma, because plasma is magnetic induction. And I probably don't tell you that. Whoops. Through the capacitance between the two fields, understanding that is the Earth's south pole, Tropic of Capricorn. South pole is the Tropic of Cancer. And the north poles are out here in the south, North Pole right in the centre. But you've got a strong force and a weak force, but they're still North Poles. The field rushes to the South Pole. The field rushes to the South Pole, goes through the ground to get over to here. Because in actual fact, that strong force is trying to seek equilibrium with the weak force, and the weak force is trying to seek equilibrium with the strong force. But they come to this point here, can't cross the dielectric. You can't cross a black hole. There's no action inside the black hole. These two forces of nature that have come together here to create creation, there's the 0 point. They avoid that point. They race up and spin around it. Right back here in creation, they spin around it. And then this whole system explodes and opens up our realm and creates the tropical gap. The tropical gap around here is actually this point here. The action stops here. It's all moving around the perimeters. And the action stops here. It shoots down into the ground to pass over to the south. And the south comes to the ground to pass over. Well, I'll explain that a bit more. Comes up from the south, comes down here. Hope you can see that. We'll get to that a bit later. So the tropical gap is a blown up image of the black hole. But the black hole, everything comes from here, 0 point. The human mind can't comprehend this. The two forces of nature that come together, you can call it a North Pole and a South Pole if you want, or male and female. The whole world's dual, black and white, in and out, up and down. You name it, male, female. So, understanding this, let me zoom in a bit more. We'll zoom in on this hyperboloid centre of creation. Black hole, 0 point. Everything comes from that singularity, that point, 0 point. And it explodes, bingo, and creates the toroidal field. We end up with this system. But you've got the plane of inertia, boom. Once it goes bang, straight out. It's exploded image. Exploded, fixed and stationary because of the centre of this black hole. That's why Earth is fixed and stationary, because we are from this black hole. Centre. There's the dead centre there. There's the Arctic centre there. Well, that's not right. I can't say that. It's the Arctic centre. It's Arctic centre's down here, you could say. Fixed and stationary, plane of inertia. So, but now you've got to understand, which most people don't. I've never spoke about it till I came along. Because I get all my information from the ancient physicists that nobody understands. You've got the tropical gap. Tropical gap. The field comes up here, shoots down here, and goes down, shoots back up there. Well, you could say it's like this. And what do you get? Look at that. What does that look like? Comes out of there, shoots up there. 0 point, look. There's the yin and yang. That's this one cycle, that's one field that's going out, and you've got the other field coming back in. So that's racing out to find the weak force, to find balance. So balance ends up in the middle here. And there's a big story, because in the particular time of the season, the Earth's magnetic field is balanced between here. And it's right there. And it's to do with the equinox too. Between here and there. And this is where you get the Physicopiscus, the magic spot right there. So then you get the other cycle that comes up and goes down like this. So you could draw a 0 point there for its something like that. Okay, get the picture? Something like that. Understanding all this? That's your toroidal field. It's a dual system in here. It was a single system because that'll go around like that. Goes around like that. So you get a toroidal field sliced in half. Okay, we chop it down through here. You're looking back through the hole. And you look at this and look at the tokamak reactor. It sort of looks like this, then it comes up and comes down like this. Oh, like that, isn't it? Like that. You go, look at it. Those big magnets they've got, they look like this. What do you think they're doing in this gap here, mate? That's where all the action is. All the ancients knew about that. That's why I have that this sort of symbol or design in the ancient material. You've got the Aborigines knew the ladder system back here. They knew about the Milky Way. And this point here, come time for man, because this all this is connected to religion, because religion is basically physics. Flat Earth, understand flat Earth, you're understanding the entire physics of our realm. And you go back up to here and realise there's a point of the year where the two Milky Ways line up, and that's what creates the Raki. Okay. At night we see this anyway in the hemisphere, in each hemisphere is the big bulgy part here. So you could say you're seeing it on an overall, Antarctic to Arctic. But at the end of the day, you're only seeing your image within your arc of horizon, but there's one in each hemisphere. So we'll see one in the southern hemisphere, because it comes around like this, swings around like that. That's a southern hemisphere cycle. We see our own cycle mirrored to the circle that goes around here. As it turns, this is turning. So put the two mirrors face to face, with the action going in here, what's going to happen over here? It's the same thing. Except due to the fact that we've got the parabolic curving of the magnetic field in the southern hemisphere, it casts everything back to the observer, and it creates this back to front system. Just thought of something then, just lost it. Oh, okay. Now, understanding this, the Earth, how the southern hemisphere is larger than the north, this gets rather buzzy. I'll try and explain it, get rid of the Milky Way here. Now, for years when we were growing up, we were told there's a flag on the Antarctic continent up on the ice here that represents the South Pole. So they're lying all the time, okay? But now they're starting to tell the truth. They're telling you that the South Pole is in the middle of the ocean out here at 66.6 degrees. Okay? And it is. It's 66.6 degrees from the equator, which is in here. Center of this blue part here. But the funny thing is, 66.6 degrees isn't in the centre of the northern hemisphere somewhere. It's right back here at 90 degrees, the Arctic, isn't it? You've got to realise you've got your equator, tropical gaps, either side, 23.4 degrees, 23.4 degrees, or 66.6 takes you to the Arctic. 66.6 takes you to this spot here. It's not out here. Well, how does it end up like that? How does it end up there? Well, it's due to the parabolic effect of the curving magnetic field of the southern hemisphere. Let's go down to the other image, shall we? Go down to here, shall we? It's due to this parabolic, the magnetic flux of the Earth. It casts the image. It casts the image back to the observer. There you see your star rotation. That's 60 GP, 66.6 degrees from the equator. 66 is back here, isn't it? There's your 66, which makes it 90, of course. 90 plus you're at 23.4. So understanding all this, there's a lot of thought to be put into it. You could also associate that with the fact that the overall earthly system, and sun and dilemma, if you went south all the way around the north and back out around the south, there's your 66.6 degrees. Dead centre of the Arctic, there is right there. It's 90 degrees, just your Arctic. Well, there's your south. They call the south, but it's actually a North Pole. They're both north. South is in here, Tropic of Capricorn and Cancer, because the field shoots over to there and that field shoots over to there. So look, cast back, because it's all holographic. They're all holographic projections. That's why you're getting this casting back like this. All the stars, all the celestial bodies, are holographic projections. Okay? Then you've got to understand the two cycles. These flat earthers are quite ignorant at the moment, but talking about the Antarctic sun, 24-hour sun. They don't even understand the two systems. They don't even understand the two separate cycles, celestial cycles. There's the southern hemisphere cycle. There's the northern hemisphere cycle. Of course the sun goes around you in the south. There's you standing there. That's what you get. But you don't get the whole 24 hours, do you? Because part of it's darkness. Why? Because it's declination. The further you go south, the more it's going to flatten out in that part of that season. I've tried to explain this in other videos. You know, it flattens out and goes around you above the horizon beyond 66.6 degrees. But then it starts coming back up again. And I've shown this image a lot in my previous videos. So you start losing that into darkness. It's the night time. But there comes a point in the magnetic flux the magnetic flux is it's like a pyramid. It's basically like that. It goes up to the north, and you could say that we'll call this south. That sun there is all mirrored. Now, this is getting deep. I'm going to explain that right now at the minute. You have to check out my other videos. But the magnet is down and out, right out, but it slowly winds back up to the centre north. There's the centre north of Earth, Arctic. Arctic. This right here is Antarctic. Antarctic. Okay? It's right out, down and out. Then it moves back up, winds back up and in. So if you understand the cycles out in the south here, why wouldn't it be all around you above the horizon? Until it starts tilting. It starts going back uphill. It starts moving like this, back up. So you've got to understand how it's actually getting cast back to the observer in a shape like this. the sun actually does this sort of cycle over the year. I think you'll see this on that epic core. They did the motions of the sun like that, because the field is like that. The parabolic projections do this opposite thing. It's like creation is perpendicular to our physical realm. If it's vertical back at creation, it's horizontal out in our realm. Everything moves around the realm on the flat plane, but then it comes across our visual perspective. Horizon comes around, comes into our horizon, goes up over our horizon, rises up, and then goes down and out of our horizon to carry on around the flat earth. Understanding a toroidal field. There's only one hyperboloid center, but the black hole of creation, this is where it originally started, okay, but it's been exploded now, and now we live up on the upper level. As it breaks down, it can break down that way and it breaks down this way, just like a magnet. A bar magnet. Where's a bar magnet? Bar magnet is a south pole down here, or let's call them south poles, okay? South down there, south up there. North down there, north up there. They're opposite. Then you go, it's the north and the south here. So it breaks down both ways. North and south, or weak force, strong force. Break down that way or break down this way. This is what Earth is doing. Where was I going with that? Oh, the black hole. So the black hole initially started there at the time of the opening of our realm. Now, because we do away with that part, we know nothing about that because we're in the light, supposedly. Supposed to be in the light, but born into darkness. Don't actually see the light till you open your third eye. So that point there now becomes up here. Black hole. That's the black hole. And the sun, the pure plasma, is on it. Okay? So for them to make the plasma sun work properly, they're going to have to create a black hole for it to move around, maybe. But if they understand the whole flat earth system, they can probably figure it all out instead of spending billions of dollars on that massive construction they're doing. Woo! It's all about breaking down the water molecule to purify it to come into here. They call tritium and what's the other one? Beryllium. Yeah, so you know you got the Milky Way comes up and over here. That's the male, and you got the other Milky Way that comes down here. You got a field coming up this way and a field coming over this way. Now, you look at that. You look at the shape of that flat Earth there, and it reminded me of those hats. I'm pretty sure it was the Ottomans or the Turks or something. Turks, Ottomans, whatever you want to call them. They used to wear a hat that sort of looks similar. Or the Cossacks or whatever, and then you start to realise all the hats represented divinity or royalty. You know, the tassel, they still use it today at universities for achievement. It all boils down to man's divine awakening, because that's what a true royalty is. Become a king. Is opening a third eye. Goes way back to ancient Egypt. That's what it's all about. It's the actual meaning to life. And you know, got all these cultures had their own hats. You look them up. You got the fez there. These different names. You look up the meaning of these words. Pepaka, you know. We've got the story of creation there by the Aborigines. How did they know, Dreamtime stories that talk about the boomerang? They mentioned the boomerang. How long's the boomerang been around for? Oh, since creation. What's creation all about? It's all about the Milky Way, the Rakia. The story of creation is about Rakia, which is the firmament, which is the Milky Way. Aborigines' Dreamtime story mentions the boomerang goes back to creation. Creation is the Milky Way. We didn't get to that, did I? Let's go back to it. It's the time of year where the two hemisphere cycles marry and become equilibrium. You got the Milky Way coming over to here. You got a Milky Way that comes out of the south over to here. But when it lines up and everything, it ends up like this. And there's your sun up there, Milky Way. Although we sort of see this at night anyway in each hemisphere. Sagittarius A. But the Gigentian at the back here, the white cloud, all the religious stories are about that because the sun is facing backwards that way. In the Noah story, the two sons finding the sun naked, they're walking backwards and all that sort of stuff. It's all to do with this because we only see the back of it. No one sees this. No one sees the Father because in the light of day, the Father's in front of the hole. The hole's in front of the sun. You don't see the black hole. You don't see the Father. You just see the illuminated sun that's on its horizon. There's a time where these two meet, marry, become equilibrium. You could say there's your arc. That's your firmament, the firm structure of the Milky Way passing through the weaker field of the sky, the ocean. They call it the ocean back in the day. The sea, I should say. And that's the solar boat. The sun and the solar boat. And we think of it like that, don't we? It's back to front, isn't it? It's, like I say, opposite to creation. There's a point of equilibrium between the two hemispheres, understanding the two hemisphere cycles. See, Flat Earth is just ignoring me, ignoring the whole thing. Well, we talk about this stupid 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I told them years ago there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica and tried to explain it. When the sun's down and out, it's down and out. There's your southern cycle. It comes around like this. Southeast. There's your north. Then it goes southwest. Or west, southwest. Right back to there, but we don't see it back in here. Okay, I can watch the moon. I'm in the southern hemisphere in New Zealand. I can watch the moon come right round to about here before it disappears out of the horizon, almost directly south. Well, where is it? If it's facing there, where is it in the north? Right up in the centre Arctic. Right up, how do I draw that? It's opposite. Okay, you get the two cycles. If I see the moon out there, then the moon, let's say this dead north, the moon's going to be right up here. Okay, when it comes around in the morning, starts coming out, the sun comes around in the morning, then the sun will come around here in the morning. Look at that. As we get the two propellers spinning this way. That's when some magic can happen in a storm. The two propellers coming this way. That's an interesting story too. The energy that's created in here. It's spinning that way and that's spinning that way like that. So when they go to Antarctica and they see the sun on this side at midnight, then the sun, let's go back to that drawing again. They're going to see, that's all they see, that's their man's arc of horizon. He could be there, or if he's further west, that will be he'll be there. Or this guy's there, or this guy further west, he's there. That's all he sees. He's going to see his rotation. He will see his rotation like that. He will see his, because it's all projected back to the centre Arctic, right back to there. It's all projected from out of here. So that's how the sun works, beyond 66.6 degrees above the horizon for a few weeks. But if you're only at 66.6 degrees, you'll only see for one day above the horizon before it starts to slightly dip as it starts coming back up. See, as it dips down, it's going into night, but it's also moving like this. So there's the southern hemisphere. So the northern hemisphere, he's here. So if the sun's out here at midnight, his south side, you should say, Antarctica side, and there's the centre north, then that will be over here. The sun will be on this side. On this side. Come around like that. And then come around like that. It's one man's meridian. Or that'll be his meridian. Everybody's on a meridian north to south. It's quite simple, especially when you understand the magnetic flux of the earth. Go to Epicor, check out the sun. You know, you can see what it does. I think they all know what I'm talking about, especially the globies, people who know their science. They're just trying to hide it all. They don't want you to know it. So they come on my site and bullshit all day long. But everyone knew back in the day, all the cultures, the Maori language all connects to creation, Rakia. I've done videos on that regarding the long white cloud, which is the Gigentian, the Maori name for Stewart Island, all that sort of stuff. That's all on my Patreon if you're interested. Zoom in, hey? Oops, it dropped off. Tomb of Illumination. You might want to go to Saints, but at the same time you might want to buy the Floodgates video that's somewhere else over there to get a foundation of all this, understanding all this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to put a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget to share, because no one's seeing these videos. It's all hidden. There's only a handful of people that see them. There might be 8,000 subscribers, but you might only get about 80 of them looking, because they get hidden thanks to YouTube. The powers that be do not want the truth to be known. But if you want to search out the truth, seek and you shall find. Thanks for watching. Cheers.